Welcome to World Rare Coin Vault, where every coin has a story and some coins may be far more interesting than they first appear. Today, we're taking a closer look at our top one rare 50 pence coin, the 1977 issue, in circulated condition. Could this familiar-looking British coin have hidden collector interest? Stay with us as we explore its history, design, condition, rarity, and potential value. If you enjoy discovering fascinating coins, make sure to subscribe to World Rare Coin Vault and join us for another exciting coin hunt. Let's get started up with the 1977 British 50 pence coin in dusty condition, a coin that comes from a remarkable period in British history and remains an interesting piece for collectors. At first glance, a dusty and well-used 50 pence may not appear especially exciting, but when you look more closely at its date, design, condition, and historical background, there is much more to discover. So stay with us, because this coin has a story worth exploring, and by the end of the video we will also discuss some hypothetical high-value figures purely for entertainment and comparison, while explaining what collectors should realistically look for. The 1977 50 pence belongs to the famous British decimal coinage era. Decimal currency was introduced in the United Kingdom in 1971, replacing the older pounds, shillings, and pence system, and the 50 pence quickly became one of the most recognizable denominations in British pocket change. By 1977, the coin was already a familiar part of everyday British life. This particular year is also interesting because it falls during the period of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and coins from this era are often collected as examples of Britain's transition into modern decimal currency. The 1977 issue is especially interesting when viewed as part of a wider collection covering the early years of decimalization. Millions of coins from this period entered circulation, which means that finding one today is not necessarily unusual, but finding an example with an unusual characteristic, exceptional preservation, or a genuine minting variety can make the search much more exciting. On the obverse, or head side, you can see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which represents the monarch during the period when this coin was issued. The portrait is surrounded by lettering identifying the queen, and this side provides one of the most important visual features for collectors studying British coins. Turning the coin over to reverse, you find the distinctive 50 pence design associated with the denomination. The seven-sided shape is one of the features that makes the British 50 pence instantly recognizable. Unlike a conventional round coin, its heptagonal form gives a unique appearance and also makes it particularly interesting to collectors around the world. Looking carefully at the lettering, date, and details of the design can sometimes reveal differences caused by wear, damage, or, in rare circumstances, genuine production varieties. The weight of the original 50 pence introduced in the early decimal period was 13.5 grams, and the coin had a diameter of approximately 30 millimeters. Its seven-sided shape is another major part of its identity. For collectors, checking the basic specifications can be useful because a genuine coin should generally correspond closely with the recognized dimensions and weight for its type. However, a small difference in weight does not automatically mean that a coin is rare or valuable. Circulation, wear, dirt, environmental damage, and the condition of a household scale can all produce minor differences. Serious collectors normally consider weight together with diameter, metal composition, design details, and overall authenticity before reaching conclusion. Now let's talk about the most important part of today's example, the condition. This 1977 50 pence is described as being in dusty condition, and that immediately tells us that the coin has probably spent considerable time exposed to dirt, storage conditions, or normal handling. Dust itself does not necessarily make a coin worthless, but the collector needs to distinguish between removable surface dirt and actual damage to the metal. Scratches, deep marks, corrosion, harsh cleaning, staining, and chemical damage can have a much greater impact on collector appeal. One important rule is never to assume that an old-looking coin is automatically rare. Age alone does not create rarity. What really matters is a combination of mintage, demand, condition, genuine varieties, errors, and the number of surviving examples that collectors actually want. And now we reach the question that attracts so much attention. What can 1977 50 pence be worth today? You may sometimes see sensational claims suggesting that an ordinary 1977 coin could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. For entertainment, Imagine a headline claiming $5,000, $10,000, or even $25,000 for a supposedly extraordinary example. These figures can make a great mystery for a coin hunting video, but they should not be treated as the real market value of a normal dusty 1977 50 pence. Those are hypothetical figures used to illustrate how dramatically prices could change if an authenticated coin had an extraordinary and highly desirable error, rarity, or provenance. A standard circulated or dusty example should not be valued at thousands of dollars simply because it carries the date 1977. The real excitement for collectors comes from examining the coin carefully rather than believing every spectacular valuation seen online. Look closely at the date, lettering, portrait, rim, and reverse details. Compare the coin with reliable references, and if you believe you have discovered something genuinely unusual, seek an experienced numismatist or a reputable grading service. An authentic major mint error can sometimes attract considerably more interest than an ordinary example, but the difference between a genuine error and ordinary damage is extremely important. A damaged coin can look unusual without having any special numismatic value. There is also something special about collecting coins like this because every piece has traveled through a part of history. A 1977 50 pence might have been handled in shops, carried in pockets, placed in a drawer, or forgotten in an old collection for decades. Even when its monetary value is modest, its historical character can make it an enjoyable addition to a British decimal collection. If you discover one, avoid aggressive cleaning, polishing, or scratching the surface in an attempt to make it look newer. Original surfaces are generally much more desirable to collectors than artificially cleaned ones. Keep the coin in a dry, safe environment, preferably in suitable coin storage, and record where and how you found it. So, as we come to the end of today's search, the 1977 British 50 pence in dusty condition may not be a guaranteed treasure worth thousands of dollars, but it is certainly a fascinating coin to examine. Its connection with Britain's early decimal era, its unmistakable seven-sided shape, Queen Elizabeth II portrait, and historical place in British everyday life all give it collecting appeal. And remember, the exciting part of coin collecting is not simply finding a huge price tag. It is learning how to recognize genuine rarity, understanding condition, and discovering the stories hidden in pieces of metal that have survived for decades. If you have a 1977 50 pence at home, take another look at it. Check the date, study both sides, examine the edges, and compare the details carefully. You never know what you might discover, and that is exactly what makes coin collecting so enjoyable. This has been World Rare Coin Vault, bringing you another fascinating journey into the world of British coins. Keep searching, keep learning, and never overlook an old coin just because it looks ordinary. Your next discovery could be the coin that makes your collection truly memorable.